again. So today we're starting something new called slope. This is something you have definitely seen before, but it's been a while, so we are going to look at it again. So first thing we're looking at is we are finding, using this foldable, we're using, I can find slope from a graph, from ordered pairs, and from a table. So we're going to start with finding slope from a graph. Find two lattice points, preferably the closest two. Lattice points are where your line is crossing nicely. So like a point right here and a point right here, point right here. These are all lattice points. I'm only going to use these first two because they're close together. There aren't any other nice points right here, right here. Those are like fractions. I don't want to use fractions. So I want only whole numbers. Now starting at the left lattice point. So I'm starting here. Count the number of units up or down. So I'm looking to see, okay, how far am I going to go up or down? I'm going to go down 1, and then I'm counting how far to the right, and I'm going 3 to the right. So because I'm going down, this is negative. I've got a -1 because I'm going down 1, and I'm going over 3. Occasionally you have to simplify. This time we don't because 1 and 3 are the smallest that they can be. This one, again, you need to find some lattice points. So you could pick here, you could pick here, you could pick here. Please, please, please do not pick, I'm going to write it in a different color, don't pick right here. That point is in between two whole numbers. This is 0, this is 1, this is like at 1/2. I don't want to use a fraction. So we don't want to pick that point. We are picking just whole numbers today, or nice lattice points. So I'm going to use these 2 points right here. You could use any 2 lattice points, but I'm going to use these 2. I'm going to start with my point on the left, see how far up and how far to the right. So I'm going up 3, which makes this positive, and I'm going over 2. Next, we can find slope from 2 points. There is a formula. Here's our formula up here. First thing we need to do is we need to identify our x and our y values. So I'm going to label this 6 as my x1. I'm going to label this -10 as my y1. This is my x2 and this is my y2. I label them as x sub 1 and y sub 1 because this is my first coordinate, x sub 2, y sub 2. This is my second coordinate. And if you look up here in our formula, I need a y sub 2, a y sub 1, x2, x1. So that's why I'm going through and I'm labeling these. I think it's super helpful when you label them as x1, y1, x2, y2, because now I can just say, I need my y2 number here. Oh, y2 is my 15. I'm going to subtract my y1. My y1 is -10. x2 is going to go in this box. My x2 is -15. And my x1 is 6. I'm going to subtract these numbers. So 15 minus -10, you can put that in your calculator. You could see that, oh, I have 2 negatives. That makes a positive. This becomes 25. I have -15 minus 6, which makes a -21. Now I'm looking to see, can I simplify these numbers at all? Do I have a number that divides 25 and 21? And I don't have any number, but I don't like having this negative in my denominator. It's not standard form. I don't want to do it. So I'm going to put it up front, -25 over 21. So you can either put it on the top or you can put it in the front like this. That's not what I meant to do. 25 over 21. And you could just put it directly in the front like this. So this is a better option. This is a better option. I don't like having my negative in my numerator. It's not a good option for us. And I do not want to change this to a mixed number. I do not want to change this to a, I don't want to change it to a mixed number. I want to leave it as an improper fraction. If I change it to a mixed number, it causes different issues for us. We can do the same thing down here. My suggestion is that you try this one on your own. Pause your video for a moment and try this one on your own. Sorry about that. My hand touched something weird. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label them. Again, this is my first coordinate. Goodness. This is my first coordinate. This is my second coordinate. I label as x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So y sub 2, I'm starting with 5. Y sub 1 is a negative 1. X sub 2 is a 9. X sub 1 is a 3. Again, I need to subtract these numbers, so I've got minus a negative, so I'm going to add them. That becomes 6. 9 minus 3 becomes 6. I can simplify right now, and this becomes 1 over 1 or just 1. If you left it as 1 over 1 right now, that I would actually be okay, because we're going to need fractions. We don't want whole numbers necessarily when we're using slope. That'll come more into play in the next couple of days. All right, last thing that we're doing, we are identifying slope from a table. So identify 2 lines from the table you want to use. In this case, we're using these bottom 2. Calculate how much the y value increases or decreases for the numerator. So from 5 to 8, am I adding or subtracting? I'm adding 3. For my, sorry, I was supposed to do y first. Let's try that again. So y 10 to 16, I'm adding 6. It really doesn't matter which one you do first. Then I do my x values, and I'm adding 3. But we'll do them in order. So I have my rise over run. My rise is remember, it's always y over x. I don't know that we talked about that very much yet. But when I'm putting these numbers, when I'm finding slope, my y values are always on the top. Remember, f of x is the same as y. So these are y values. But this is my y values are on top, my x values are on the bottom. It's the only time that y really comes first. So this is a 6 over 3, simplifies to 2 over 1. You could simplify it even more and write it as 2, but I think this is better right now because we are going to be using these slopes when we're graphing, and slopes are a lot easier when you have them as a fraction. All right, in this table, we picked these 2. So I'm going from -1 to 2. No, hold on. We're doing the y values first. I can do this. Okay, we're going from 14 to 12. So am I adding or subtracting to get from 14 to 12? I'm subtracting 2. But in this one, I'm going from a negative to a positive, and I don't like that. That really kind of bothers me. So here's what I want you to do. Just like with arithmetic, I want you to take your second number and subtract your first number. So take your 2 minus -1. That becomes a plus, and this number becomes 3. So I am adding 3. Rise or y values go on the top. So this is my -2. This is my +3. I can't simplify that at all, so it just stays as -2 over 3. All right, so that's a very quick overview of slope. You do have a Desmos to practice with today as well. And we will keep practicing with slope for a couple of days, and then we actually get to use our books this week too. So thank you for staying for the whole video. Appreciate it. Make sure you get all of this written down. This is a foldable, so you can use it on your upcoming test whenever that is in a couple of weeks after we come back from October break.